The scorching sun of Ouagadougou bore down mercilessly as a convoy of aid trucks rolled into the dusty square. Amidst the chatter and clatter, a voice thundered through the gathered crowd. Burkina Faso will no longer accept second-hand clothes. It was the voice of a man who had just become the symbol of dignity for a nation, a man named Ibrahim Traoré. And with those words, a silent revolution was born. Introduction and setup. The dust swirled over the dry earth like ancient spirits rising in the late afternoon heat. The market stalls, heavy with colorful woven baskets and fresh millet, bustled with women wrapped in vibrant pagnies, their laughter mingling with the cries of children. The scent of roasted peanuts and smoky fires mingled in the air, as if holding the very soul of Burkina Faso in its embrace. Ibrahim Traoré stood on the cracked stone steps of the presidential palace, his gaze fixed beyond the horizon, where the sky met the endless Sahelian plains. His dark eyes were heavy, not with fatigue but with the burden of history. His hands, calloused and steady, clenched into fists. He had inherited a land scarred by colonial neglect and foreign aid that too often came as charity wrapped in humiliation. Simple leather-bound journal rested in his pocket, a gift from his late grandfather, a man who had once whispered to him, "Our pride is our true wealth." Those words had become his guiding star. The protagonist's inner world. Ibrahim was a leader forged by hardship, a childhood marked by the harsh droughts that shriveled crops and spirits alike. He had seen families surrender their dreams for mere survival, scavenging through piles of donated second-hand clothes, worn, discarded relics of a world that looked down on them. His own mother's tattered dress had once been one such garment, her eyes full of silent shame, yet resolute hope. Inside him burned a fierce longing, not just for survival but for dignity. He was a man who refused to let his people be defined by the scraps others threw away. The burden of inherited poverty was heavy, but heavier still was the weight of condescension that came with aid that whispered, "You are less." The challenge. Arrives, the world's superpowers had come to Burkina Faso under the guise of generosity, trucks laden with gifts of clothes and goods. But Ibrahim saw the truth beneath the gifts: humiliation, a subtle theft of identity. One afternoon, a shipment arrived, and with it, whispers of frustration and anger. Another pile of second-hand clothes. An elderly woman muttered as she sifted through threadbare shirts and faded trousers. "They don't see us, they only see our brokenness." That evening, Ibrahim sat with his closest advisors in a modest office illuminated by the flicker of a single bulb. The air was thick with tension. "We accept these clothes because we have no choice," one minister argued quietly. "The people need them." Ibrahim's voice broke through, cold and sharp. "No, we will not beg for leftovers. This ends now." The turning point. A mysterious visitor. Days later, as Ibrahim walked the streets of Ouagadougou in quiet reflection, he encountered a figure who would change everything. A young boy, no older than 10, with eyes as deep and ancient as the Sahel itself. The boy held a small stone, smooth and black with a faint golden shimmer. "Sir," the boy said softly, "this stone was once part of a kingdom. It reminds us that we have worth beyond what others give us." Ibrahim knelt and accepted the stone, feeling an unexpected warmth. It was a symbol, not just of the past, but of a future reclaimed. Midpoint revelation, the boy was not just any child. He was the grandson of a forgotten king, whose ancestors had ruled these lands before colonizers arrived with their goods and rules. The stone was a fragment of their royal treasury, lost but never forgotten. Ibrahim realized that the nation's pride had been buried beneath layers of imposed charity and forgotten history. Suddenly, the problem was no longer about clothes. It was about reclaiming identity. Building the movement. With renewed resolve, Ibrahim spoke to his people on national radio. "No more hand-me-downs, no more charity that shames us. Burkina Faso will stand tall. We will build our own future, Our clothes, our pride, our destiny. Communities began weaving their own fabrics, reviving ancient textile arts once thought lost. Women's cooperatives flourished, men returned to traditional crafts. The market transformed into a tapestry of vibrant colors and stories. A new dignity blossomed, woven from threads of self-respect and cultural rebirth. Climax: the confrontation. News of Ibrahim's declaration reached the ears of the former U.S. President, Donald Trump, who had once publicly boasted about sending second-hand goods as aid to African nations. His remarks echoed through international media, met with both mockery and outrage. In a fiery televised address, Ibrahim responded directly, "Burkina Faso will no longer accept second-hand clothes. We do not want your leftovers or your pity. We want partnership, respect, and equality." The world watched as a small Sahelian nation challenged decades of paternalistic aid and demanded dignity. Emotional breakthrough. That night, Ibrahim sat alone, the black stone glowing softly beside him. He thought of his mother, her worn dress, and the generations who had endured. A tear traced the line of his cheek, not of sorrow but of hope. "You are not broken," he whispered to the stone. "You are becoming." Resolution and quiet closure. Months later, the sun rose gently over the reborn markets of Ouagadougou. The air was filled with laughter and music, the colors of hand-woven fabrics bright against the blue sky. Children played, their clothes vibrant and new, stitched with stories of pride. In the crowd, the young boy smiled, watching Ibrahim lead the nation toward a future built on respect and self-worth. And in that moment, Burkina Faso was no longer a recipient of charity. It was a beacon of resilience, dignity, and hope. Call to action. If this story touched your heart, consider subscribing for more inspiring tales of hope, healing, and unexpected kindness. Hit the like button and share this with someone who needs it today.